How's it going, Mayhem?
But going great. Inauguration day, the biggest of days in a while.
Yep.
There's a weird energy in the entire country. I can feel it. It's bubbling up. It's burning up my T-shirt.
Well, I am very pragmatic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
People were asking me, I was doing a lot of interviews, and people were saying, it's got to be rough, with the fires and the stuff and the everything. And I'm like, what's next? Moving on. I mean, when I found out, which I did erroneously, but initially, I woke up on Wednesday morning, and the news was, wake up, your house is gone. And to me, if you would have seen my reaction, it would have been like somebody saying, somebody stole the recycling bin from in front of your house. Like, that was the same reaction. It was just like, well, that sucks. I guess we got to get another one. Like, what's next? Now, I'm not saying that I'm a cool customer. I'm just saying I'm like Spock from Star Trek. It's like, I could scream to the heavens, or I could break a chair, or I could yell or point or yell, why me, or what's going on. But it doesn't make sense to me. It's a calorie burner.
We're very different guys. I scratched my car and I went to like level 8. Yeah. Good level 8. And like house might have burnt down and someone farted in the elevator.
Yeah, that was my reaction. And at that time, it was a neighbor basically reporting in, someone who had their finger on the pulse of the neighborhood and the beat. I've never been that person. But that person, who was a reliable source, just basically said, the place is gone.
Damn.
And so in my mind, it was gone. And I didn't have a reaction to it because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't, if I thought having a meltdown got me 2% closer to getting the condo back, then I would have a meltdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it was a, half-court Hail Mary shot, I would take that shot. But it doesn't do anything. So I never have that reaction.
You don't have no catharsis of shouting it out a little bit? You know what I mean? I think the majority of people are like me, where you, like, if something really terrible happens, you need to, like, excise the demons.
Well, it's weird. I can have a cathartic meltdown over, I came in here over the weekend and there was a coffee mug that was just sitting in the bottom of the sink with dried coffee in the bottom of it that nobody rinsed out. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Why can't people get the message of rinsing out the coffee mug? I took a picture. I'll share it later with you guys. But the point is that will trigger me.
Yeah, I see.
And I'll tell you why. Because that's avoidable. You could rinse your mug. But the fire, it just is, and it's done. And that's how I react. So I wish I had, I'm kind of glad I don't have that gene, because I don't have to live and die with all the drama of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything, every which way, pardon the pun, the wind blows. You know, you just kind of get there. So I don't have that. And it's good. It's good for, like, being in a race car. You just don't have those panic reactions, overcorrections. It just, the car starts sliding and getting slippery, or somebody's right up on you or something, and you just don't have that reaction, which is good.
That's apples and oranges to me, because once my adrenaline's up, then I can think clearly and calmly and quiet.
Well, you have to in the cage,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, that it is good to, like, be a Zen master when something terrible happens.
But, it's not zen-y. It's like wired like my Labrador Phil, who can just lay outside in the middle of a concrete slab while someone is working a wet saw concrete cutter 2 feet from Phil, just cutting the slab, and he's just laying there. It's a wiring.
You got to thank your parents for that.
I think I will.
Gifted.
Thanks, Mom and Dad, for not having a pulse. All right. So I got stuff to complain about. I was thinking about permits, and we'll get to that. But you got bigger,
don't get
bigger
too wild.
news.
You got
bigger
plenty
news.
of news to yell about.
Well, what's going on?
All right. Well, first of all, maybe you'll like this, that Trump signed an executive order proclaiming that there are only two biological sexes.
It is weird that we have to make this proclamation. Like a lot of, you can tell a lot about society by what you have to do. You know what I mean? Like you have to say, look, we're not going to allow you to wear pajama bottoms and a bra on an airplane, ladies. Sorry, you have to put something on. Like the fact that you would mortify and confuse people from the past by the fact that we had to make, I always say this, like drive through LA. What do you see? Barbed wire around the freeway signs. Why? Well, because people are tagging the freeway signs, so have to put razor wire around the freeway. Like just explaining that this is what we must have an executive order that says there's only two sexes. We must put barbed wire around the freeway signs. Every firehouse in LA, while it may not have water or qualified firemen, we have a box. We have a sign in front of the thing that says, you can drop your infant kid off here. You can just leave them. This is the judgment-free drop zone.
Safe space.
For your 9-month-old. So just go ahead and dump them here if you like. Like, you would confuse people from our society from the past that these things existed, that we had to have these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like that one I get a little
or
bit.
Even like, all right, you go into the store, you go and you could take people from not, 200 years ago. You could take people from 25 years ago and just go walk them through a Rite Aid or a CVS, and they'd go, why is the toothpaste and the razor cartridges in a cage? And you'd go, we have to have one. And they'd go, I don't get it. What's going on with razor blades and cartridges and deodorant? Oh, no, we have to lock them up because hordes of people come in with pillowcases and garbage bags and just fill it with everything and leave. And they'd go, well, I don't get it. Where the police? Oh, no, they're not. Well, wait a minute. Bunches of people can just walk in and just take tons of shit, up to $950. I mean, that's how and they'd go, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, what kind of hellscape have you guys created here?
Everybody just going by the rules, coming in under $950.
Yeah, well, we changed that one now. But all right, anyway, you got news.
Yeah. The biological gender thing is, now that I guess the Biden administration allowed U.S. citizens to be able to select the gender-neutral X as a marker on their passports, and I guess he's going to roll that on back. I don't know. It leaves, to me, it's strange that they're so concerned about this, that it's such a big deal. But yeah, I get the point of view.
It's not I think there's a thing, which is a kind of strategy, which is somebody says, I think we'll have, drag queen story hour. And then somebody on the other side goes, I'm against that. And then the person on the left goes, why is this such a big deal? It barely happens. It doesn't affect you. What do you care? And the answer is, it is the beginning of the undoing of society is basically what it is. But it's also, I don't care. I never wanted to go through life caring about the trans community or the LGBT. I don't care. I've never cared. I go way back with the gays.
Yeah,
my family's way back. I mean, my grandmother was a fruit fly in her, in 1942. My grandmother was like the original fruit fly.
What? She started a gay club or something?
There's a guy named Harry Hay who's literally just the Harriet Tubman of sucking cock.
The Underground Railroad of ass.
like the founding father of homo.
Really? In L.A.?
There's a guy named Harry Hay.
Yeah,
He wore beads and a dress and whatever. Oh, my grandmother loved Harry Hay. He was at every party. My grandmother talked about him. There was a book about Harry Hay. My grandmother's in the book. I mean, and we're going back to the 40s.
Okay,
so the whole gay experience, that turns out, just like these guys, he's a douchebag and he's just angry at his dad. And you know, that's how these guys roll. He's an asshole, an antisocial prick, basically. But my grandmother loved him. And she loved him for one reason. He was gay. She used to tell me all the time, like she'd go, Harry'd come walking in a dress and beads, and everyone look at him, and he'd just go, fuck you. And I'm like, oh, he sounds like an antisocial douchebag to me. And my grandmother loved it. So I go way back with these people. I also go back. I also know my grandmother, my mom. So they're fucking angry people who just they weren't interested in the gay movement. They were interested in pissing off John Wayne. Whatever John Wayne wouldn't like, they liked. They don't know it. Most of the people that do all this shit don't even know they're on autopilot. They're just fighting against what is.
It seems like the ebb and flow of society, sort of, where the gays like troll the conservative and then it back and forth. And now we're swinging back over this way.
Look, here's the reality is nobody really cares. I just don't. If I got a kid in the second grade, I don't want some she dressed up like Divine reading them Hop on Pop. That's all. Other than that, I don't give a fuck. You can do whatever you want. By the way, my buddy Philip the Juggler, my dear departed Philip the Juggler, guy I loved, cared for very much, great guy. His bachelor party was out here, and the guy, his best man who planned his bachelor party, ended up taking us to the Queen Mary. Not the boat, the club on Ventura Boulevard in Studio City. There was a drag club. Dawson, you can look it up. There's a drag club called the Queen Mary. It was in Studio City, California. Like, it was there since the 70s. Like, I went... he dragged us there. I said, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, dragged. I was like, I'm getting a lap dance from a dude in a skirt. Now, I did the all baller move.
Yeah.
About a half hour into the Queen Mary and the she's, I said, okay, this is funny, but the bloom is off the fucking rose. I want some titties. So I got everybody up and I said, we're going to the Star Garden. The Star Garden is in North Hollywood. It's on, it's a 20-minute drive, whatever. I said, pack it up, bitches. We're going to the fucking Star Garden. I know the bouncer. And then we all got in the cars and we drove to North Hollywood. That was my stomping ground. And we went to the Star Garden where I knew the bouncer. And we all strolled in. It's like a weeknight. And then at some point, all the dudes sort of filed out. I was, looking at tits and drinking beer and shooting pool and stuff. Yeah. And then at the end of the night, everyone was gone. And one hot stripper I had a crush on real bad. Yeah. She was there and all the dudes were gone. And my car was back at the Queen Mary in Studio City because I drove over there with them.
Yeah.
So I said to Catlin, the stripper,
Catlin,
I said, hey, man, I lost my ride. I was in here with some dudes, and I got nowhere to go. And she's like, well, I'll give you a ride back to your car. And I was like, oh, okay. And we left at like 2 a.m. And then at some point, we're driving back. I was like, yeah, it's an all-night diner on Ventura over there. Why don't we get a cup of coffee? She's like, okay. Next thing you know, we're banging.
Yeah, right. I was hoping this story had a good ending.
It ended in a good place.
Sometimes the story take a left turn.
No, turned out good for me. But the Queen Mary, Dawson, I mean, literally established in 1974 or something.
Yeah, it existed. We can't find any pictures or anything, but we're trying to find out when it shut down.
Well, yeah.
Oh, it shut down way later, but when did it open?
We're finding out.
That's the question. The point is this shit's been around for a while. Nobody really cared. So I grew up in North Hollywood and Studio City and everything, and there was just a bar called the Queen Mary.
Yeah.
That was a drag bar, and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody
that's
burnt it down.
That's in California.
That is more.
Where I grew
that's
up,
more progressive.
Like, in the 80s, it was not. No, there was no even inkling.
But
of this kind of thing.
Here's what I'm saying: in 2025, nobody gives a shit about race. Nobody gives a shit about gay. Nobody gives a shit about lesbian. Nobody gives a shit about trans. They try to make it like we care about race. We don't fucking care about race. We don't care about any of this shit. But we don't want you imposing your shit on us. That's all. Go ahead. So.
All right. Well, some more Biden news. He pardons his family in his final minutes in office.
What year do you find a flyer from the Queen Mary?
Yeah, so it opened in the early 1960s. Can't find an exact
Early
year.
60s.
They're saying.
Damn.
Shit, we're going back. I never got it. The guy who threw the bachelor party thought it was funny.
Yeah. What? Or he thought it was funny, but check his search history.
I never got into the novelty. I never got into the novelty shit. For my birthday when I was 18, some girl bought me I opened the box. I didn't have anything. I didn't have clothes, you know, like I didn't have stuff. Like I needed a fan for my room, for my garage so I could sleep during the summer. I didn't have anything. And I had this rich girl. She was a friend of mine. And she's like, I got your birthday present. And I opened it up. And it said jock full of nuts. And I opened the box and it was a jock strap with a zipper on it filled with peanuts. And I was like, I ate the fucking peanuts. and I was just like looking at it. And I was like, Janie, you spent like $26 on this, you know? And she's like, yeah. You could have got me the Best of Steely Dan CD or a gift certificate to Sizzler or like
$26 worth of peanuts
or $26 worth of peanuts. Like and she was like, "It's funny, right?" I was like, "It's funny when you're rich. It's not. I don't have shit. I mean, you could have bought me a Chubb pack of socks or something like a pair of Van tennis shoes, like anything." But I just remember staring at that jock full of nuts. I couldn't throw it out. I ate all the peanuts out of it. I was going to eat the fucking peanuts, and then I just set the jock on my fucking floor, and it just sat there. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah, she was rich. So she thought it was. I mean, listen, God bless her, but Jesus Christ. All right, sorry.
Well, let me let you know about what's going on. The pardons. Joe Biden preemptively pardoned several family members, citing concerns that they will be targeted by baseless and politically motivated investigations.
All right, well, let's break this down. His family is corrupt, and his family was involved with the skimming of the money from Ukraine and Russia and all this stuff. Let's really break it down. Like, let's just start from the start. It goes from, my son's the smartest guy I know. He's done nothing wrong, and I've never spoken to him about any of his business dealings. All right, that's the beginning. That's where we start, right? Now, we could have finished there, but if somebody accused my dad of being in on the grift and being the big guy and getting 10%, and me traveling to all these rogue nations and cutting deals with them for their energy company and getting paid in cars and diamonds and cash and stuff like that. If somebody said that to my dad 5 years ago, my dad would go, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never talked to Adam about this. I don't know what he does, and I have no part of it. I have no part of it, and I don't even know what you're talking about. That would have been 5 years ago. And then you could smash cut to 10 minutes before he died, and you could go, I would like to revisit this thing where Adam was getting paid from Burisma and energy companies and gifts and stuff like that. And 10 seconds before my dad died, 5 years later, he would go, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no connection to this. All right, that's a good dad. And you want to know why? Because there was no connection. There wasn't anything. I've never had a discussion with my dad. My dad doesn't know anything. He never profited from it. He never gotten anything. There is no deal. But the Biden one goes from this never happened to oh, there's a laptop with a bunch of shit on it that says maybe it did happen, to, well, that laptop is fake, to that laptop is real, to, oh, here's some pictures of you with the Emperor of China and your son, and here's a couple emails, to, okay, I'm going to pardon my son.
Yeah.
Okay, and no one in my family, his brothers, no, but now we have shell accounts and all these accounts that had to be set up in your granddaughters' names and different people's names. So now there's a trove of stuff. So we got from, I've never discussed this, I've done nothing, my son has done nothing, to, I need to pardon my son because there's a fucking trove of information. So now my dad would never need to pardon me because there'd never be anything there. There'd never be anything there. So your brother, Joe Biden, he's just a business guy. He works in Delaware and has nothing to do with any of this grift that's going on. Why would you need to pardon him any more than you'd need to pardon me or my dad? And then the answer would be, well, I would be targeted. Okay, so let's just say I'm targeted. Adam, what'd you do with Ukraine? What'd you do with Burisma? Let's talk about your bank accounts. And then I would go ahead. There's nothing. Go ahead, target all the fuck you want. There's nothing there. You accuse me of being P. Diddy's right-hand man and being in on the action. Go ahead. There's nothing there. You can't prove anything. There's nothing there.
Baby oil manager.
His fucking son and his brother and other family members were all in on a fucking grift. The guy was corrupt. That's why he's pardoning everyone. And it's a super convenient excuse to go, well, they're going to be targeted. You mean like what you guys have been doing to Trump for the last 3 years? You're talking about that kind of targeting? Talking about baseless stuff where you just tie him up in the courtroom? Like that
sport.
kind of targeting?
No.
Yeah, that's what you do. Your brother's in on this. All these other people are in on it, and that's why you have to pardon them.
Yeah, his final batch of pardons included his brother, James Biden, James' wife, Sarah Jones Biden, and younger sister, Valerie Biden Owens. Owen's husband, John Owens, and his other brother, Francis Biden.
There is, look,
people,
I've said this 9 times, but there's an email where Hunter is in charge of paying the big guy 10%. Who else could we be talking about? Who is the big guy?
Yeah.
Why is Hunter in charge of the big guy? Like, think about it. Hunter is the bag man and the face. He's not the business guy.
Yeah.
The other guys on the list are business guys. 10% to this guy, 10% to that guy. So why wouldn't the business guy be in charge of the big guy's 10%? Why is the crack-addicted bag man, why is he in charge of the big guy? Because the big guy's Joe Biden, everybody. I know we don't do news anymore, but who else is the big guy? Has everyone ever figured out who the big guy is? It's Joe Biden and his fucking corrupt family. I'm not, you go, well, you're just saying this because you don't like Joe Biden. That is true. I don't like Joe Biden, but it's still blatantly obvious what he's done and what he's doing. Sorry. There's, when people sit back and they go, there's nothing that connects. There's nothing but 300 fucking emails and a trove of information and accounts and all kinds of, it's an endless amount of evidence that connects him to this. And that's why he has to pardon all the criminals in his own family.
Yeah, it does seem like when you're in power, you get to kind of manipulate things however you want.
Yes, he's got it. He's got to pardon Fauci, because I've always told you it only goes one direction with Fauci. It starts off as this guy's St. Fauci and he's saving the nation. Oh, maybe the virus started in the lab and maybe Fauci was trying to squash that and maybe Fauci had something to do with that lab and the virus. Yes, that's why you have to pardon these people. They're fucking criminals.
Yeah, that was another whole story. Yeah, that Fauci, Milley, and the January 6th committee has also been pardoned.
Well, the January 6th committee was just put together to try to do to Trump what Biden is accusing Trump preemptively of trying to do to his family. They put a big committee together. They kicked off anyone who opposed any of their narratives. And then they cooked a bunch of stuff and then miraculously lost all the information, or the hard drives were scrubbed, or whatever it is. Yes, that's lawfare. Like that's our government coming together, lying, getting rid of evidence. They brought, the January 6th committee brought in the chick who heard secondhand. Remember this story, or third hand, that when Trump was in his limo on January 6th, he lurched forward to grab the steering wheel and try to steer the car. They interviewed her, who wasn't in the car. They didn't interview the security that was in the car, who said this never happened. So if you wanted to know what happened inside that car, let's just say you're a committee. You just want to get to the bottom. Yeah. All you want is the truth. You just want to get to the bottom of what went on. That's all. Okay. Wouldn't you want to talk to some of the personnel who are physically the Secret Service guys in the car versus the 27-year-old chick who overheard somebody saying this is what he did?
You're saying,
wouldn't that be a more reliable source? The person that was physically there?
They curated the testimony.
They did not want to talk to those people. Why? Because they would say it didn't happen, and that would fuck up their theme. So are you guys trying to get to the bottom of this, or is this a theme you're trying to play out? And then also, no discussion with Nancy Pelosi or anybody else that Trump, said we need 10,000 National Guardsmen there like days before. Like, no. Wouldn't you want to get to the bottom of why there wasn't more security there? Didn't want to delve into that. So yes, they were corrupt as well. And they need to be pardoned because they're corrupt. You can attack all you want. Like, by the way, what use is it? Like let's just say Senator whoever, squeaky clean, never did anything. Benny Johnson, there was no corruption. There was no erasing of files. There was no underhanded anything. Then what's Trump going to do? I mean, what are you going to do to these guys? There's no paper trail. There's no anything.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, go after Jim Carolla. Okay. Nothing there. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
They did stuff. And that's why they're getting pardoned.
Yeah.
And all these people that are getting pardoned because they did shit. Yeah. So there you go. Joe's a great guy. He's great. Remember the adults were coming back and dignity was coming back, and it's all there.
No, well, speaking of all that, Trump is to suspend the security clearances of the former national security officials behind the Hunter laptop letter.
Yes, 51 guys with security clearances who know the business said, well, we've studied this and it has all the earmarks of Russian collusion. So we'll write this letter about this laptop that definitely exists because they were in possession of it a year before. They had the laptop. They're in possession of it. They know it's real. They can authenticate it, but it's got a bunch of shit. And the shit on there is connecting Joe and his son to all these business dealings. And we want to get our guy elected, Joe Biden, and he has a debate coming up in 2 days. So we will craft a letter, get all the officials to sign it, and then we will arm Joe with that. And then during the debate, when Trump starts talking about China and Russia and whatever, Joe will look into the camera and go, 51 highly decorated security experts have signed a document that said this is all Russian collusion and cleared me. And then the bitch who's moderating will sit and yell, can we get back to race? Can we get back to race? That's what she's saying. We're talking about race. Can we? Okay, that's why they did it. They did it to put their thumb on the scale for the election. It's pretty obvious stuff. And people, feels to me like election interference.
Yeah.
That feels like interfering with an election. You are officials with security clearances who are ex-FBI and CIA guys. You all signed a document that said this thing that was real was fake. What are you doing?
Yeah, it seems like both sides are playing a very good propaganda game, like very deep levels of, because that using the government to affect propaganda is like really big thing for America.
We do it.
Communist China.
Yeah, but they should be stripped of their clearance because they're using their clearance and using their reputation to affect an election.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump should fucking, yes. Yeah. Now, if the news did their job, this would be pretty easy stuff, but they don't want to do it. So they didn't want to do it. And that's the age we just lived in. We just went through COVID. And we just went through Biden, and it was the same thing. News all in, one direction, and a dereliction of duty, and that's why no one fucking listens to these people anymore.
Well, it seems that there's been a big internet wave where people are thinking differently outside of the mainstream media, outside of legacy media. Now there's new ways to get information, so people are thinking very differently.
Well, the problem is there's sort of transparent about it. Like when Leslie Stahl from 60 Minutes is interviewing Trump and he's like, well, what about the laptop? And she's like, sir, there's no way to authenticate. We can't authenticate. And he's like, what do you mean you can't authenticate it? They're like, sir, we can't. You're 60 Minutes. You can't authenticate a laptop? Mm-hmm. I feel like you could do that if you wanted, and you're yelling. So now I don't trust you, Leslie Stahl, because I think you're lying and I think you're protecting somebody else.
I always say there's no such thing as a fair fight. I'm an expert at mixed martial arts. And, because there's a referee in the cage, this guy, same as boxing, this guy has a lot of play. And I feel like the referees in our society should be the media and voices like yours and people on the news. You'd think you could trust everybody, but everybody has an inherent bias.
It's true. But there's also accurate versus inaccurate. Mm-hmm. You can go back, and I broadcast every single day all through COVID. Go listen to what I said. Tell me what I got wrong. I interviewed Tony Bobolinsky, Hunter Biden's partner. He sat right where you're sitting. I talked to him for an hour and a half. Tell me what I got wrong. Tell me what he got wrong. See, here's the deal. If at this point in our society, it was like, well, listen, Adam, sit down. Turns out the COVID came from a pangolin in a wet market. Turns out ivermectin was deadly. Turned out to be horse paste. Turned out hydroxychloroquine was bad. It turned out that there was no natural immunity. And it turned out that the vaccinations was one and done, and you never got COVID ever again. Oh, and the Hunter Biden laptop was a fake, then I would have to sit here and go, okay, then don't listen to me on the next one. Because obviously I got some shit wrong. Except for I didn't get any of it wrong.
Yeah.
Now, CNN got all of it wrong. Joe Rogan didn't get it wrong. So now people go, well, why should we listen to the ladies from The View when we have other people who didn't get it wrong? And by the way, the people who got it right, look for the people who got deplatformed and fired and all. Look for all those people. Those are the people who got it right. All right.
It seemed like a cudgel for other motivations. You know what I mean? If, you say something I disagree with about X, but really I'm trying to get Y, get you to stop talking about it.
Yeah, they wanted, it was all political. They wanted Joe Biden to be president. So all this stuff kind of competed with that. And so they had a theme, so they did it. Now, I don't know why people played so fast and loose with their reputation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, are they committed to certain things?
Yeah, like I don't like Joe Biden. I would prefer Trump. Or I would prefer Trump over Kamala Harris. But if someone said, show up to your podcast and just start lying because you want to get Trump elected, I'd go, well, I don't want to do it because then I'll look like an asshole later on when it turns out I was lying about shit. So I'll just say what I want to say.
Integrity, I think it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Wolf Blitzer is doing. I mean, Sanjay Gupta, I think it was Sanjay. Yeah, Sanjay Gupta calls ivermectin horse paste. Then he goes on to Rogan and gets roasted. And then he comes back to CNN the next day, and Don Lemon's like, well, it is used on horses, right? And he's like, well, it can be. Well, then I guess you're right. I mean, he just fucking ate a dick. I'm not going to listen to anything Sanjay Gupta ever has to fucking say about anything because he's a fucking lying hack. But I don't know why you would want to get yourself into that position.
Do you think these guys know they're lying, or like, because maybe they're just misinformed, and like I think a lot of people get
Sanjay Gupta's a physician. He can figure out what ivermectin is if he wants.
Yeah,
I'm not I got put on academic probation at a junior college. I figured out what ivermectin was. It's real easy.
But what I mean is that if you're just invested in the team and you're in your echo chambers like we all are on our internet device, then we start getting this marching orders sort of without even being aware of it or subconscious.
No, he's got a direction and he's going that direction, but he still knows what ivermectin is.
Yeah.
And so he's cashed in his integrity. And we never have to listen to him again.
Yeah, you can't suspend that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
The inauguration was today, so it was a pretty wild one because John Fetterman showed up in a hoodie. As relaxed and casual as possible.
Yeah.
I did you watch? It was pretty awesome.
I'm staying with Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew has a TV remote from 1996 that has 171 buttons on it, and I cannot control. And he's out of town, and I cannot control his TV set. I cannot wake up in the morning and turn on the news and watch anything because I can't turn on anything. There's nothing.
I'm sorry, but
it's brutal.
I know that you
brutal.
live day and night by the television.
I shacked up with the one guy that has no operable TV set from this century. There's nothing. There's nothing you can do. I 15 buttons I push. I end up with the Greatest American Hero episodes. You know what that is?
No.
It's a sitcom from 1983.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
I never know that one.
At some point, out of sheer desperation, I'm like, I can't find sports wrap up. I can't find my beloved TMZ. I can't see the inauguration. I can't see anything. But here is an offering. It is Greatest American Hero from 1983. And you know what I do?
You watch it.
I go, fuck it. And I click on it, and it says, would you like to purchase it for $1.99? And I go, are you fucking kidding me now? I can't buy bad sitcoms on Drew's. And now I'm out. So I got nothing. I have nothing. I cannot watch my greatest love.
There's 19 TVs out there. I'll get you an Apple.
I fucking ran in here and turned one on just to have it on, just to be able to control something.
Yeah, I feel you.
At the football games, nothing. There's nothing. It's not. You can't. I would think you take a fucking picture of this thing. Okay.
You're withdrawing.
I'm having it.
The shakes.
I'm getting the shakes. Yeah. I got to fucking need something to take the edge off. All right. What else you got? Anything?
Oh man, that's about it.
I don't like Fetterman with this shit.
Fetterman with his shorts on. Look, his shorts and his. We rushed through the news today.
Listen,
it was wild.
Look, I get Fetterman. I mean, I get it, but I also listen. The tape went around. I spoke in front of Congress several years ago. They said, "Bring a suit, bring a tie," because that's what you do.
Yeah.
I didn't bring my fucking hoodie and my hoop shorts. I brought a suit and I brought a tie because that's what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this. While people think it's kind of cool or interesting or whatever, this is what I'm talking about. This is the pajama bottoms and the bra on the commercial flight.
Yes.
Like it's the undoing of the fabric of America. And that guy, I would just tell him, look, you dress however the fuck you want on Saturday and Sunday, but when you're in the halls of Congress or you're in this building or you're attending this, you put a fucking suit on or don't fucking keep your fat ass parked at home.
Look alive. Look alive.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think about the tone of Trump's acceptance
We got
speech?
a couple. Dawson cooked up a couple of clips. I have no access to things because I cannot watch my beloved TV. I'm forced to read.
Sorry, bud.
Read like a fucking poor person, like a pioneer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now.
You know, it's interesting, pause it, as I think back on it. I told you my stupid communist hippie bullshit, dumb fuck parents and grandmother and everything. If you wanted to piss off my grandmother and or my mom, all you'd have to do is say some rah-rah American thing.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. All you had to go is, you know, we're the greatest nation. We saved Europe in World War II or something. They'd go, you know, we knew about those concentration camps a long time before we liberated them. They would, if you wanted to piss them off in 5 seconds, just do some kind of rah-rah America talk and they would fucking turn and they would get angry. So this shit pisses a lot of people off. And they always go, no, I love this country, but we could do better, or this guy's dangerous, or whatever it is. But really what it is any rah-rah America talk pisses off a certain group of folks.
I grew up at exact opposite. Army base and rah-rah America was the way, yeah.
Oh, my grandmother would have hated your dad. All right, but she loved Harry Hay, the gay guy, gay pioneer. All right, go ahead, sorry.
From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
Oh, my grandmother's spinning in her grave like a rotisserie chicken.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
Yeah, they hate this. Everyone in my family, thank God they're not alive. Thank God. They would go fucking nuts. They hate this kind of talk. But it's really because they hate the country, but they can't say they hate the country, but it's really because they hate their dad. And then when they're done hating their dad, well, they never stop hating their dad. They all hated their dad, and then the country becomes their dad, and then Trump becomes sort of de facto dad, and they all hate Trump. That's
some Freudian.
Oh, yeah. No, you can trace it all back to fucking angry chicks who fucking hate their dads. Every time you get fucked up at an airport by security chick,
that's her.
That's her. That's her. That's 23-year-old fucking abandoned at 7, never met the man. And here comes Dad Carolla walking in with the Samsonite.
The patriarchy embodied.
Just want to get on the fucking flight, bitch. That's all. But no, you got to score
what?
to settle.
I go with the poor people like on flights, and I never get hassled at all. They're just happy to see me through, that I'm not starting to fight with one of them.
I fly with exclusively poor people as well. I fly more Southwest than I tell people I fly Southwest all the time, and they go, no, you don't. I go, yeah, absolutely I do. All the fucking time.
Oh, okay.
That's all I do. All right, we got another clip here, Dawson.
We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly.
Yeah.
And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we are watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. But we can't let this happen.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm wealthy and powerful, and I got no home. I may be forced to have to slum it at Costner's beach house. Sorry, you got bumped for the fight. Costner came through.
No stress. You guys have fun, huh? We'll talk about it.
Yeah, now listen, if you run into Jay Moore, don't tell him that I told you if Costner doesn't go to the UFC fight, you were going. Because I told Jay if Costner had been bumped, then Jay was going. You understand?
I understand.
So don't say anything.
I ain't saying nothing about nothing.
Let's just keep this between us.
Yeah. Pardon me for that.
Yeah, I'll fill you guys more in on that. But that was quite an evening. Good times.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's do one more clip, shall we, Dawson, if you have one. Sorry.
Yeah, this is a good one.
All right, let's do one more.
That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
Yeah. But as I've said, who's going to agitate black people without Joe Biden up there fucking screaming about how they never got a fair shake every fucking time someone put a microphone in front? Like, who's going to, with Kamala gone and Joe Biden gone, who's going to do all the race hustling necessary for this country? I guess it's going to be up to CNN and MSNBC now. Who's going to hustle the race?
I'm waiting for a payment, and I'll do it.
You do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. Okay, I can see race hustling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can
Race
see
hustle.
that.